Check, please.
Welcome back to Everything Money. In this video, you will learn about the semiconductor company NVIDIA. There's a lot of talk about this in the news, Paul. The Democrats are looking to pass some infrastructure because we got to stop getting our semiconductors overseas. They might be plugging some money into some American-based semiconductor companies, and we'll see if this plays out. But we're going to give you the financials behind NVIDIA. We will show you how to trade this company with Mo moving forward and show you what stock price you should be paying using our stock analyzer tool. Paul, tell me about NVIDIA.
So NVIDIA is a great company. As you talk about infrastructure, Intel's building two $20 billion plants, one in our backyard here in Columbus. So we're obviously very pro there. But NVIDIA, let's just go right now and let's just go see NVIDIA in our 8 pillars. So NVDA, pop up NVIDIA. Let's go to the 8 pillars real quick. All right. So guys, if you watch our process in our past videos, if you wait till the end, we'll show you how to really learn the 8-pillar process. But these are 8 pillars. Usually when we see the first and 8th one, we're excited because every other attribute is a green check, except it's just overpriced. Now, in this one, they have issued some more shares than we'd like, 5.7%. With that said, I'm kind of okay with the company issuing shares when it's insanely overpriced, like it is here, 118 times 5-year free cash flow. That's a very, very high number, guys. We want it to be below 20. It's at 118. We want PE, 5-year PE below 22.5. It's at 114. Guys, keep this in mind. Is this expensive? I don't know. But in order to justify a really, really high PE, you need a really, really high growth rate. So the question you have to ask yourself is, can NVIDIA grow to make up for this? Every other aspect we like. Even the shares outstanding, I'm not bad with. Look at this debt. They can pay off their debt in 2.8 years based on if they just do the last 5 years of free cash flow again. And they're growing. So let's go actually look at their income statement on our software to show you the growth. All right, guys, look at their revenue growth. 9.7 to 27 billion. That's a big jump. Okay, let's look at the net income growth. 3.05 to 9.75. Guys, big jumps here. Look at the growth last 10 years ago, they did 560 million in profit. Last year, they did 9.75. That's almost 20 times more. That's a huge growth number. But I want you to remember, it is becoming a bigger and bigger company. Growing faster will be more and more difficult. Now, one thing I want to check out. I want to see, did they make acquisitions along the way that might have been the reason why they issued shares? So we go to the cash flow statement, we scroll down, and right here, we look at acquisitions. They had an $8.5 billion acquisition in 2021, the year 2021. So let's go look at their number of shares outstanding. That's found in the income statement at the very bottom. Where was their jump in shares outstanding? It was actually back here. That was the big jump. So I don't think that's the reason. They just had a big jump here. Is that concerning to me? I'm not sitting here going, ignore. It's not like we see other companies where they have 300% more shares than they did 10 years. I mean, now they did 10 years ago. I'm not worried about this one. As much as I hate shares outstanding increasing, this doesn't concern me as much. So this is part of our process that we look at. And I want you to remember these fundamentals of growth, and you can pay more for a company as a multiple, but you got to get the growth there. And this is why we have the software here to show you all of this.
Paul, it's good that you bring this up. I'm looking actually at Datarama. There have been a lot of sells, almost $400 million in sells from a lot of the top investors in the world. But it's amazing. Some people are reducing their position, then other people are increasing their position by 400%. So go figure. But there's been a lot of sells of this company. They're not in love with it at the moment.
Well, remember, people sell for many, many different reasons. What's more important to focus on is who is buying and why. Sure. I'm not telling you to mimic them, but just like I very much value some value investors' opinions, I won't go mimic them, but I'll look at their moves and say, am I missing something here, and go try to research.
That's a great way to do it. Show me the analysts think over there.
So guys, if you watch this channel, I'm not very pro watching analysts, but at the same point, you can look at analysts and see what you feel about them, what they're saying. So this is the next 6 years of NVIDIA earnings per share estimations based on number of analysts by year. So for this year, they're looking at, for next year, they're looking at, well, it's for this year, but it's the year ending January 2023, $5.60 per share. Two analysts in 2028 are saying $15.50, almost tripling. But you have to ask yourself, let's say these guys are right. Multiply this by even an aggressive 20 times, you're looking at a share price of $300. What's the current share price for NVIDIA?
$219.
So are you willing to, if they're right, are you willing to buy something for $219 today that 6 years from now will be worth $300? That's not a very good return.
Oh, no.
That's not a great return, right? It's about 4 or 5% a year. It's just something to look at and observe. Let's go look at the revenue growth estimations by analysts. 34.8 billion to 81 billion. Keep in mind, Intel this year is going to do like 75 billion. So it's still smaller than Intel, but the market cap is much larger than Intel. Keep that in mind. I was reading a book recently that I love. Guys, remember one of our most popular videos we ever did, and go look at this, was we looked at Tesla and said, Tesla at the time was $600 billion. Here are all the companies you can buy for $600 billion combined. Which ones would you rather have? These 5 companies that all generate billions and billions of cash flow, or Tesla? And this is actually a very common theme amongst value investors. Go look at the comparison of what you can buy with that. And I look at this saying, why would I want NVIDIA, which still has to grow into Intel's value? And guys, we have a long way to go to get to this point. A lot of things can happen from here. All right. So this is an idea, but look at the earnings, look at the revenue growth over the next 6 years. It's declining because it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. All right. So these are the things to do. Now, with that said, why do we talk about this?
So Paul, with all the analysts and all this mumbo jumbo, we have done videos in the past when this stock was really high where you were telling us just to be patient. So in general, like, how can I increase my level of patience? I need someone to talk to besides just listening to you all day. How do I do this?
Well, so this software was specifically created because our users made a request and we followed through on it. They said, we want to be able to do the same analysis you do without waiting for you to make a video. So we made the software. The software is right here. It's all on your phone. It's very simple to get. It includes everything here: 8 pillars, retirement calculator, stock analyzer tool, 8-pillar portfolio that allows you to put up to 50 of your stocks into a portfolio to see how it does, how it looks as an 8-pillar stock. Exclusive video content every single day. Seth, Mo, and I release content to only those users who belong to our community, belong to our software. And our watch list. You can now set price targets, and we'll show you shortly on NVIDIA how to determine the price you want to pay and then set a price target so the software will notify you on the app and on the computer and over email to tell you to buy the stock.
I love this watch list. We'll get to it here in a minute. Keep
it's
going.
Incredible. And then also these things are coming in. But the biggest aspect, the EM community chat. Guys, I get frustrated with research. It's a time-consuming process. We have over 6,000 people in here who are all researching the same thing. You can go into the chat, search NVIDIA, and go engage. It'll show you exactly where people are talking about things. You can engage in the conversation about NVIDIA. Somebody else has probably seen, tons of other people have probably seen things you haven't, and you've seen things they haven't. You can engage in the conversation immediately. This is all available for only $1 per day. $1 per day, less than a cup of coffee. Guys, if this increases your returns by 1 or 2% a year, or more importantly, allows you to avoid the misses of Peloton, Palantir, and the ones that don't make sense that are dropping 70, 80%, this is a no-brainer. It'll lead to hundreds of thousands, not millions of dollars. 2 ways to sign up: everythingmoney.com or Patreon for our international users. The benefits of everythingmoney.com is you don't pay sales tax yet. This is awesome. Go sign up. Whatever you sign up for today is locked in forever. You get all this stuff. As our price goes up, you stay locked in, and no-brainer.
We will cut to Mo, and he will show you how to trade this stock moving forward. But Paul, the stock analyzer helps you, a viewer at home, and myself, of course, the dummies out there like me, come up with what I should be paying for this company. We mentioned some analyst prices, but show me how we can walk through this. I love this tool.
All right, so NVIDIA. We go back to NVIDIA. We go right to the stock analyzer tool. It always starts with a 10-year analysis. You can do 1 to 20. So, Mo, revenue growth numbers. I mean, they're big in the last 10 years. They're getting higher and higher, but you know me.
I put 15, 18, and 21.
15, 18, and 21% revenue growth. So just to keep in mind what that means, at 21% revenue growth for 10 years, they're going to do $235 billion in revenue in 10 years. Is that a lot? Yeah, it's about 3 times the size of Intel now. However, to Mo's point, the world is becoming more and more advanced, more and more technology. As the world becomes more and more reliant on technology, these are going to become more and more valuable. Inflation's kicking up. Is it high? Maybe so, but the 15% doesn't seem too crazy to me. So lock it down. Profit margin.
I put 24, 26, and 28. So 24 in case it doesn't pan out well. 26, I think, a good middle ground. And 28, hey, if they keep doing it, there it is.
All right. What about free cash flow margin?
I had the same.
Perfect. Guys, and over long periods of time, free cash flow and earnings should be the same. Now, the PE number, because you're going to see 56 here, guys, and go, oh my God, 56. What did you put in there? Well, what do you want to put in here?
14, 16, 18.
I agree. Guys, the larger and larger the company is, the harder it is to pay a high PE because it's harder to grow. That's it. Same thing with price of free cash flow. And finally, return 12.5%. I tend to put 12.5% in because it's a good margin of safety, gives you a reason to go invest in it as opposed to buying an ETF to make 9 or 10%. Very simply, hit the analyze button.
Stock price is 220 today.
All right. It's got to fall in half from here.
Really?
A low of 73, a high of 155, and a middle of 107. You might sit there and say, that's insane. Well, guys, the PE is currently 56. Exactly. In half makes it 28, which is still high, but they can grow into that because they have higher growth rates. You might sit there and say, that's crazy, Paul. Okay, that's, by the way, if you want to put that as your watch list price, hit the plus right here. It immediately puts it in there. Notify me. Boom. You're notified when it hits 106.99. Done.
It sounds crazy to have this fall, but if you look at just the chart, it had a parabolic rise. I mean, if you even pull back a little bit further, Paul, go to the 5-year. It's like that kind of looks crazy to me.
Yep. And guess what? It was as high as recently as 346. So it's already down 30% since its high recently. And as I always say in all these videos, the faster growing hype stocks that are more overpriced are going to fall the most when times are bad. That's it. Now, does that mean you can't make money off NVIDIA? No. Mo does trading, day trading, chart reading, long-term trades. It has nothing to do with the fundamentals. I don't care if they have negative revenue. I don't care if they're Bitcoin. You can still make money off the trading. Mo, take it away.
It is funny, Paul. And I would say before we get to Mo, Paul, you're shorting the QQQ at the same time day trading the same stocks to make money.
Absolutely. It's completely irrelevant to me. They're two different strategies completely.
Go ahead, Mo.
So this is incredible, guys. When you look at these big companies like this is under all 4 major moving averages again. So all of these companies are getting beaten down. This is something I talked about on the morning show many times. When we talk about these flagpole patterns where the stock has a crazy parabolic rise and creates this flagpole. I said so many times at the end of last year, this thing, when it shot up so fast in 1 month, it was going to come right back down, and here we are. I don't know when it's going to be, but it's always going to come crashing down, and this was in like a 2-week period. So we're consolidating now at this level of 219. Guys, let's pull up a candle and just see what we can do here. Give me 1 second. Candles. And we'll see there is support in here. But when this starts falling and it starts dropping below these wicks, I said the same thing in the Microsoft video. When it starts dropping below those February 24th, January 24th dates, this thing is going to fall apart, and NVIDIA is not going to be it's going to be just as susceptible as everybody else. Now, this is a great stock to day trade, too, because it has so much volatility day to day. Last Friday, you could have traded it in the morning and in the afternoon from a shorting perspective. This morning, if the market gets going and NVIDIA starts rolling with the market, we're creeping towards that 80% area. You can get some good buying volume, get some engulfing candlesticks, and go from there. If you want to learn to day trade, come and day trade with us. We do it live a couple times a week. You get to watch if you're in the Bid and Ask Nation.
I'm just waiting. That's all I'm doing. I'm just going to sit here and wait for the right price, the right time. The fundamentals are probably going to continue to get better, but if the price is high, it's possible to overpay for a good thing, and I think that's the case here in NVIDIA at this price.
And if you want to learn more about our 8-pillar process, going through all the steps, you can click this card in the upper right-hand corner, take you to a new video where we go over the 8 pillars and why we use them to screen stocks. That is our take. We'll see you next video. Make sure you follow, thumbs up, subscribe. Thanks for watching.